Welcome back to Character Select. Dave and Sinarra, back for more Homeworld. This place has been completely mined, and as you may have seen, we ended up making some more ships, and we're now ready to continue our journey towards our homeworld.
Yeah, did some micromanagement, got some new weapon, or ship strike team groups, and yada, let's go.
Autodock commencing.
But please, let's not watch them all dock.
Yeah, we want the full cinematic experience, right? Everyone came here to watch a slow. It's not like we jumped the resource collecting. For convenience. Okay.
I'm gonna push D on my keyboard at this point. Such an interesting hyperspace thing. Alright, this is gonna be loud.
Yeah.
After analyzing the data we collected from the Kartoba's sister ship, we've been able to determine what happened in the nebula. While the Kartoba was able to limp to Karak, this ship instead must have tried to hide here. They soon resorted to preying on ships passing through the nebula. In time, the nebula became off-limits to all shipping. They developed hyperspace inhibitor technology to trap prey from far away without leaving the safety of the nebula. Eventually, it became the center of their existence, and ultimately, their religion.
— 4,000 years of being space pirate raiders apparently will make you crazy.
Yeah.
We are still in the nebula? Shit.
I think we're, just outside of it, maybe?
All ships auto-launching.
Deep space. Sea of lost souls.
Anomaly detected. Override engaged.
Okay.
Sensors detect a vessel here. It doesn't match any of the profiles we have encountered. Send in a team to investigate. We are detecting various ships surrounding the alien vessel. They appear to be inactive.
Interesting.
Group 10 reporting. Establishing sphere formation. Wall formation confirmed.
Huh. Okay. So that's interesting.
Snap into action as quickly as possible this time. Although, if memory serves me right, we're not going to be attacked until we, trigger the thing over there.
Right.
So, if you just want to skip ahead in the show...
Oh, do we have to wait for all of our ships to get friggin'...
Well, yeah. But yeah. I just mean, I'm going to start resourcing.
Oh, no.
In peace for as long as I can. So
that's fair.
We'll probably just skip ahead in the episode to when I inevitably send the probe over.
Okay.
So, next time on Character Select.
Oh, God, no. It's only been friggin' 5 minutes.
This time on Character Select, in the future. Now. Alright, so while we do have a moment, I do have, a hypothetical for you.
Sure.
Which, I thought of this, and then I was kind of, thinking, and I can't... It's so hard for me to come up with examples, but I'll just get into it. What, science fiction universe would you yourself want to live in? And you can't say... one that does not feature Earth. So,
one where
Trek
Earth isn't the primary focus?
Well, yeah, because once you get into it, almost everything has, or at least had, an Earth in its history.
Yeah.
Star Wars is the only one I can think of where the characters inhabiting the universe have no ties or connection to Earth. Although technically Earth exists in the galaxy that the Star Wars is not taking place in.
Right.
I can't... Like, there's no mentions of Earth. No one has ever been there, so it didn't impact the history of their, stuff. So it's completely separate from Earth. But can you think of a science fiction universe where that's also the case? There's zero Earth in history or presence. And I was, looking into it, and I was like, okay, well, Dune has that, right? But if you go into, the text of the book, they actually start talking about Earth history as their history, as in the ancient times.
That's a tough one. Jeez.
Yeah, so that, just like Firefly, Earth is ancient history, but it's still remembered. What was that cartoon, that animated movie when we were kids?
Titan AE?
Titan AE is one. Because it's after Earth. Yeah, actually, I think that's the one I'm thinking of. Everything is predicated on Earth as the same origin story. And if we want to get into game universes, most futuristic ones still do the same thing.
Yeah.
Mass Effect is...
Well, it's a way to ground your
Earth-based.
narrative, right?
Yeah.
You want people to have a common point of reference.
Yeah. So, this game universe, Homeworld, seems to be one of those few where
Group 2 responding.
there isn't...
Course set.
There isn't
we come
a
from
mention of
Carrick,
Earth.
and we're looking for Higara. I think, technically, Higara is supposed to represent an Earth analog, but they don't actually call it Earth.
And you
So
can
I guess...
you can even get away with it a bit further because we never see what the Higarans look like.
Yes, I think we do at one point in concept art or cinematics see the silhouette of the scientist who becomes the ship's core.
Right.
And she has a humanoid figure, but they don't go into so much detail that... I mean, we're humanoid. We're meant to put ourselves in the shoes of this displaced people on the edge of genocide, trying to be the last hope for the survival of our species. The player, I think I can safely assume that you're meant to put yourself in those shoes.
Project,
and you're assuming that you're human. But they do go kind of out of their way not to talk about races and to obscure the visuals of what, when you're talking to the Bentusi, you only know them for the appearance of their ship.
Yeah,
We don't get to see the interior that one diplomat did. We didn't get to see the interrogated aliens from our enemies that attacked us. But in any case, you could make an argument that this is so far in the future that the term Earth fell out of favor and we adopted the term Higara and we just forgot about the word Earth. And then so many years after that we were exiled and now we're trying to find Earth again. You could make the argument that this is set in our universe and we're humans trying to find Earth, but we're just using different names because it's a different era.
Right.
But you could also, I think it's also suitable that this is there could be no humans at all, and we're just a humanoid race fighting against other humanoid races. Or it could be like Star Wars, where everyone's kind of human, but there isn't a particular origin for us. We're just everywhere.
Yeah. Huh.
But, Sorry, go ahead.
The only game I can think of
Group 2 receiving.
that is a science fiction game that doesn't have... You can go ahead and send it towards the point. It's fine.
Oh, I think I wanted to do a pro.
Oh, well, go for it.
Anyways, keep talking. I'm going to do some organizing.
The only game I can think of that has a non-human science fiction thing is a game called Ascendancy.
Standing by.
which was... It was a 4X game that was kind of turn-based. It was very weird. I played a demo of it way back in the day, like 1994, something like that.
Establishing claw formation.
And every turn was a day or a cycle. And the demo only let you play for 5,000 cycles, which was just enough to get to like a quarter of the way into the interesting bits. But there were 27 races in the full game, and not a single one of them was human. It was really interesting. But
Yeah, it is unique.
it is pretty rare. But
Yeah,
I think
it's
it's because everybody's like, well, we got to have humans because that's the common focal point.
Right, because
So-
we're human, and we need people to identify with the characters and all that.
Well, there's a lot of
Um,
shorthand that you do by saying your race is human as well. Like,
Yeah,
you say your race is some alien race, and it's like, well, what do I eat? What do I breathe? How do I live? What's my biological composition? Those
And-
things
and if
you
you're-
have to explain.
right. And if you're identical to humans in every other way that matters, then, I mean, why aren't you just a human?
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, I'm like, just at a loss for where there is no Earth. Like Firefly has the Earth that was, and the languages and the culture is all based on what culture, made it past Earth.
Yeah. I'm going to throw it to everybody that's watching. I'm just going to say, hey, come up with a science fiction series that does not have humans. Because that'd be interesting.
Yeah, or at least human likes that have no history or knowledge or ancestry with Earth,
you
the
could-
planet.
You can have quote-unquote human characters, but they can't come from Earth, essentially. Alright,
Understood.
let's go investigate.
I think I'm gonna build a probe and just get those guys ready
Construction
to
commencing.
deal with whatever. And so
Probe
we can't
complete.
really. So my original premise was, what science fiction universe that has no Earth would you want to live in? But there aren't any options, so I guess I have to go with, what science fiction universe would you want to live in where Earth no longer exists, or it just isn't a meaningful thing in the grand scheme of things? It's like,
See,
this is a
that's-
terrible example, but Warhammer 40k,
yeah.
it has Earth, but Earth is not. Rarely ever does
Reference.
anything ever take place on Earth other than the Emperor sitting.
The Emperor sits on
It's-
his throne and waits.
It's all set in the wider galaxy where the war rages on, yada yada yada. Of course, that would be a terrible universe to inhabit.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live there. That's even that's pretty difficult, because
Yeah,
a lot of the series where Earth no longer exists or is not important, it's because it sucks, and everything in space sucks too. So
Yep.
um,
And the instances of monolithic empires and oppressive regimes
yeah,
and people just struggling to survive in science fiction is also extremely rife with that.
yeah. I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to think about it. Like,
Star Trek is just off the table because that's the obvious answer most of the time.
right?
And even then, you look at the newer Star Trek, they've ruined that universe in
Well,
its own way.
They've
but-
made the universe less appealing.
Yeah,
less
there
utopian.
is no idyllic universe, but there must be idyllic locations within science fiction settings
Yeah,
that would be best case scenarios type thing. And the more I'm thinking about it, the more I think it would probably be better to be in Star Wars, the universe, because it's really big and vast. There's quiet corners left and right.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas, say, in this Homeworld universe, the evil empire is so oppressive that their way of dealing with anyone stepping out of line is extermination. So, you know, the Empire does do some of that, but, you know, 90% of the time the Empire is bureaucracy and checkpoints and, like, searching people.
Right.
Which that's something we can, we've experienced that. We can understand that. If you've ever done air travel, you've suffered that indignity. And while it's not, I don't want to go through with that. You know, I could survive having to deal with the occasional stormtrooper frisking me. Whatever.
Yeah.
I could otherwise live a comfortable-ish, you know, life. And maybe, you know, if, let's say you're not forced to live above your means, you can just have a quiet existence in any of the core world cities where you have, you know, better access to medical care and technology, and I guess the entertainment is a little more lackluster. You're going to be playing with holograms and listening to jizz music.
Oh, jizz music. It's
But
such a stupid name.
Yeah, like, you could potentially live a life of peace without, you know, coming across the war part of those stars.
Yeah.
At least you'd have about the same odds of being born in a good area versus being born in a war-torn area as you do on Earth. Like, it's all a metaphysical crapshoot.
Whole reincarnation crapshoot. Well, I guess I rolled one on my reincarnation today.
Yeah.
All right.
Whoa! Oh, they're really going for some resources out there.
All right. Probe it up.
Let's actually go.
Probe dispatched.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
and
Firefly is about the same.
Oh, those
like
are. Wait, these are the. Okay.
Yes.
Probe in position.
What the hell is that?
That's a missile launcher capital ship.
That's no good.
No, it's not. But,
wait, what? Okay, I have a question immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Why are the Higaran multi-beam frigates in the same group as the pirate ion beam frigates and the Titan missile boat?
Too close with the camera.
Group 2 reporting.
So,
let's go blow some shit up.
hold on here. This is tricky. The reason that all of these different types of ships are here is because they are empty and they are currently inert. But they're being radio controlled by this thing.
Oh, interesting.
So they're technically derelicts. And if I were to come in here with my fleet, my capital ships would instantly be stolen from me and turned against me.
Fuck that.
So, yeah, I remember that was, you know, like I had to reload the level completely after my first attempt on that because I lost everything.
That's not okay.
Yeah, and it's also it's a very nasty trick too because you're meant to, like, the game doesn't tell you. It's just like there's a strange signal and these ships seem to be dysfunctional, but then they attack you when you get too close. You're like, okay, well, let's take these things out.
And then it's like, well, we're going to take you out. And
also,
it's like, wait, what?
Yeah. And they specifically have a fighter squadron killer ship there, which will... So it's like, whoa, okay, well, I don't want to send my fighters in because they're getting torn apart. But you definitely don't want to send your frigates in. This is probably the most challenging level because you have only one option to complete it,
which is destroying the radio ship.
Use fighters. Well, yes, but you got to use fighters to get rid of the defending ships, so then it's vulnerable enough. Because I think it does have minimal anti-fighter guns. I can't remember. It might be completely defenseless. But either way, I can't just attack it because this missile frigate or destroyer will take out all of my fighters within like 30 seconds.
Oof.
A minute, maybe a minute. So it's and I'd like to capture it. So
do me a favor then. Save the game.
Save? Yeah. Kyrgyzstan.
All right. Let's see.
So
let's
I'm
see how
gonna
this
try to
goes.
do the Corvettes. I'm gonna send
Group 2 acknowledged.
my Healy boys.
Coordinates confirmed. We're reporting.
Oh, are you going to try and salvage the Corvette, missile destroyer?
Receiving.
Yep.
So it's a destroyer. That means it needs 4?
Only 3. Needs 3.
Okay.
I think a carrier needs 4 or 5, and I've never successfully
Captured a
gotten
carrier.
one, so I feel like it might not be possible. But they're always asking for more, and I've seen up to 4 or 5 attached.
Huh.
Which basically disables it, but you can't actually tow it in or whatever. And then anything else is 3, and frigates are 2.
Okay.
I think. It's been some time. Yeah, so I gotta set up with this a bit more. Another thing about sci-fi universes, regardless of whether or not humans and Earth are a part of it, it's extremely difficult to find one, and this includes Star Wars probably more than anything else, actually. As soon as you're away from civilization, it is nothing but horrible space monsters. Literally anywhere, anything, and it doesn't matter how uninhabitable it looks, it's just bare rocks, I guarantee you there is some Starship Trooper type insectoid things under the surface somewhere. There just always is. Yeah, it's either Starcraft bug, it's either that kind of stuff, or it's giant dunes sandworm monsters. It's one or the other.
Yeah, no, I get the idea of space is horrible and unforgiving, and there's so much out there that's trying to kill you, but there's gotta be an upper limit.
Yeah. You know what? I think Star Wars has mostly been absent of, but they've been trying to introduce it in the you know what? I don't actually know this. The original Star Wars EU probably had tons of space monsters. Ones that could actually exist in the void of space and fly around. Probably tons in the EU, but it was never a thing in the movies. The space combat was solely ships.
You say that, but in Empire Strikes Back, they hit on an asteroid that had a giant worm living on it.
Right, I'm still considering that a planetary. That's an planetary body. And they live on that surface. They can't... You don't see the worms flying from one asteroid to another, basically.
Fair.
Although, maybe they spore it in some way. Who knows what's going on there. But they can't just, fly after ships and chase you down or anything.
Right. There's no space whales.
Yeah. There was a Cthulhu monster in the Nebula in Solo. But whether or not you accept that movie as canon, they were playing loose with things. Technically, there was a space monster in that one, but that was really recent and not really seen as the main universe.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's going to cherry pick their lore anyway, so
Yeah.
you're never going to be talking about a consistent thing. It's a different creature in everyone's minds. It's fiction.
So do you want to send your... Okay, so I'm thinking here. Do you want to send your repair corvettes after your salvage corvettes so they don't get immediately blown up by everything?
Yep, I do want to do that.
Okay.
And I think I also want to do a small distraction with a portion of my fighters.
So that is 2 destroyers, a missile destroyer, an ion frigate, and 2 multi-beam frigates. Jesus.
Yeah. And this is the most important one. We gotta get this guy immediately. If I have to kill the beam guys, whatever.
It's a shame, but we gotta get this one.
Yeah. The bulk, okay.
Alright, go for it. Well, save it, then go for it.
I saved.
You saved before you moved everything there.
Okay. I'm sorry to your viewers, because I'm gonna be, micromanage the shit out of this stuff.
It's...
Okay. All of the salvage corvettes. Come here. I'm also sorry, but I have to AFK for a second.
Alright.
I'll be right back.
Alright, you know what? We will say next time on Character Select, we will capture this missile destroyer, hopefully. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure to click that like button down below if you liked it. Make sure to leave your comment about your non-Earth sci-fi series in the comments down below. And we'll see you next time.